This is Keith Farnish, and I've been asked to do a short presentation about something that I've been working on. It just happens that I've been working on a book called A Matter of Scale, which you can find for free on the internet at www.amatterofscale.com. There's a section in it called Travelling, and this section is really about changing the way we look at transport entirely. I'm going to read an excerpt from it. This is from chapter 16, Making the Change. There are two major types of transport, motorised and non-motorised. They're easy to distinguish, especially in the eyes of a child who hasn't yet been indoctrinated in the ways of the machine. Cars, trucks, trains, aeroplanes, mechanised boats, motorcycles and coaches are all motorised. Legs, bicycles, sailboats and animal-drawn vehicles are not motorised. Deciding between a mode of transport that's very energy efficient and one that is not is simple really, although you would be forgiven for thinking it's not. You see, manufacturers and all of the other vested interests involved in a particular mode of transport, especially in the money-rich car and air industries, will do anything to ensure you stick to that mode of transport. Aircraft manufacturers make a big deal of the energy-saving potential of, say, the new Airbus A380 or the Boeing 787, while conveniently glossing over the need to burn tons of fuel to keep an enormous lump of metal in the air. Car manufacturers, along with their good friends in the oil industry, bring out all sorts of new green vehicles, whilst at the same time fighting to ensure that fuel economy regulations are kept strictly voluntary. Changing the way we travel is about far more than changing the model of vehicle or the airline we use. These are blatant distractions from the real issue. It's about the method of transportation we use and the distance and rate by which we travel in the first place. In essence, the method we use to get around is far more important than distinguishing between different versions of the same method. Some recent work concluded that the humble bicycle was the most efficient land-based form of transport by a long way, which makes perfect sense when you consider the combination of gear system, efficient traction wheels, and most importantly, being powered by a human being rather than a combustion or electrical engine. Human beings produce only 100 grams of CO2 in their breath cycling or walking 20 kilometres, compared to a car producing between 3 and 6 kilograms of carbon dioxide. However, this kind of exertion would require about 500 kilocalories, which, if taken in the form of beef, would emit around 7 kilograms of carbon dioxide. This latter information has, not surprisingly, been used as a reason to drive rather than walk, assuming people eat nothing but beef. If you have an average global diet, though, with only 15% of your calories from meat, then the total carbon dioxide emissions of human and bicycle, or on foot, are well under a kilogram. The point of this analysis is not only to debunk some of the more fatuous arguments put forward by transport industry lobbyists, but also to show how obvious it is, by using a little bit of common sense, that motorised transport is not the way forwards, regardless how green a manufacturer may claim their vehicle is. Bear in mind also that a vegan would emit less than half a kilogram of carbon dioxide all in over that 20 kilometres, far better than a fully laden bus or coach. Self-propelled, non-motorised transport is a threat to civilization, which is the perfect reason to switch the engine off for good. Jim McGurn said, "The cyclist creates everything from almost nothing, becoming the most energy efficient of all moving animals and machines, and, as such, has a disingenuous ability to challenge the entire value system of a society. Cyclists don't consume enough. The bicycle may be too cheap, too available, too healthy, too independent, and too equitable for its own good. In an age of excess, it is minimal and has the subversive potential to make people happy in an economy fueled by consumer discontent." Even more important than method, though, is distance and speed. Culturally, the world is getting faster, not only in terms of transportation, but also the accelerating flow of information intended to keep us consuming and keep us disconnected from the real world. The automobile made door-to-door rapid transportation possible, as well as being responsible for a large proportion of the anthropogenic greenhouse effect. In every industrial nation, the car is king, with the aeroplane coming up a close second, able to take people further and more quickly than any other form of mass transport. The need for speed is a symptom of our perceived lack of time. No longer is the journey part of the experience, it is merely an adjunct to the destination we must reach. The relationship between speed and distance is two-way, with great distances being achievable due to the great speeds we can attain, and great speeds being necessary due to the great distances we wish to travel. Neither the desire for speed nor the desire for distance is natural. Industrial civilization, wishing to squeeze more and more profit out of synthetic desires, has placed them in our minds. The reason speed creates a thrill is because humans are rightly afraid of its potential to injure or kill. Yet travelling faster than our legs can carry us is considered a positive thing, largely because there's money to be made out of it. The reason we desire to travel long distances is because the travel industry tells us we should. About 15 or 16 years ago, I made the decision to travel only within my own country, not for any jingoistic reason, but simply because I realised there was so much to discover and enjoy close to home. I didn't need anywhere else. Around the same time as making this decision, and perhaps they were related, I completed a transport study of the road network on the small island of Guernsey. What I discovered was that before 1800, the vast majority of travel took place within individual parishes, little more than a couple of miles across. A holiday was a week in a neighbouring parish. Travel took place from home to the market, to friends and family, to places of worship and to places of work, all of which were within easy walking distance. The logical response to the immense pressure on us to travel further, faster, and by more technically complex forms of transport is to draw back, to only travel where and in a way that you consider absolutely essential, not that which has been decided by civilization on your behalf. This is the way humanity was until very recently, having what we need close to us, learning what the local environment had to offer and making the best of it. It may not be possible where you are to live in such a way, but then perhaps that's the best reason of all to step outside of the system and make your own decisions. Thanks for listening, and enjoy wherever your legs take you.